We did the first one was the African elephants, and that was a lot of fun to work on. And some of you probably decided to do that. And, I've talked about adding the extra elephant or two. Then we just finished up this kudu. This is the little male kudu. It's in the antelope family, and that was a fun one to do. Now I'm going to move over here to, I guess really sort of the pride of Africa, and that is the African lion. I'm going to call this African catnap. These are the male and the female. You can see I got a rough sketch here. It's not show up too good there, but we're going to put the male and the female sitting down in this little area of vegetation, taking a little nap. This is on a 18 by 24 gallery wrapped stretch canvas. Now remember, those of you that have been following the show for many, many years, canvases have evolved over the years just like everything else. And nowadays they're usually wrapping them around the edge so that you don't staple on there. Because a lot of times we as artists, like right now I'm getting ready to ship a painting, and I'm going to unstretch it, roll it up, send it to the framer in another state, and they'll restretch it. So if you have enough canvas to get a hold of, you see these are stapled on the back, then when you pull it off and you have your pliers, you have something to get a hold of. Instead of trimming them, they used to trim them around the edge. Now we don't do that because we need that extra canvas. It makes it more archival, which means museum standards. This is a medium duck canvas that I've tinted with burnt sienna blue and a little bit of white, give it a warm tan brown background, and then I lightly sanded it because I'm going to paint fur with the hair on these lions, and I want a little smoother surface. Nothing changes with our palette, it's the same, but I do want to show you some of the reference material right quick. First of all, this is the main reference material we're using for the male lion, right up here. Now, these are some photos I took at our zoo. I have not had the privilege of going over to Africa. That's still on my bucket list. I do have some photos that were sent to me by a photographer that goes over there once in a while. I have a painting, two paintings actually, that I did some years ago. You may not be able to see these too well, but it's a little baby lion taking a nap on a log. There's a couple more lions here taking a rest. So these are two that I've already completed. I'm just going to have these here to kind of look at. And then these are some more. This is going to be the female that we're going to use. I love her pose. I think that's just really dramatic. And I love the old logs and the sticks and things in there. That's the one we'll be behind. Now, obviously, folks, some of these photos I have will come out of books and magazines. We're not going to copy those. I'm not a big fan of that because you don't want to violate any copyright issues. But you can use these things to study the texture on the fur or the color of the hair. Here's another one that's in the zoo, and I love that look. It's really majestic, so we'll probably use that as a little reference material. Those are my own photos. I like to take things that I've used. I like this little setting here, this little black and white one. We're not going to use these lines, but you can see it's just the brush. So this is kind of the setting we're going to use, and then we've got all kinds of reference material to study color, texture, hair, and how all that falls into play. So, we're doing what's called a composite. I've taken a combination of different things, and we're putting them together now to create one. That's called just simply how we get the word composition. We're going to start off first, and this is rare for me to do this on TV, but I went ahead and pre-sketch this a little bit because this is a little more complicated paint. It's going to take about 5 sessions to do this. We'll see how it goes. I'm not going to make a problem. We may have some issues. We'll check it out. First thing we're going to do is get some underpainting done. As most of you know, that's step 1 in all of these things. And I need my number 10 or 12 bristle brush here for that. Either one's fine. Those of you that have been following the program since 1987, when we first went on the air, the traditional brush was the number 10. But I have added over the years, because of more complicated painting, the number 12. So either one's fine for doing this kind of scrubbing background. Now, because this is sort of a monotone painting, we want to be careful not to get it too monotone. We lose that contrast and that, sort of you might say, that color harmony that makes the painting have good balance. First thing we're going to do is just go out here to our dirty palette that everybody laughs about. I'm going to take a little bit of gesso and just work right in this area. I'm going to take a little hooker's green, a little bit of cadmium orange, and I'm going to warm it up. Maybe look at red light. By the way, these two reds, let me explain this. Normally, most of you see me with the cadmium orange. That's cad red light. Still looks orange, but most landscape artists like that. This is your cad red deep, or like a phthalo crimson, a richer red. And then your greens and your traditional palette. So don't think about, if you need a brighter red, don't be afraid to pick up a stronger one, because that one's a little orange. All right, here we go. Now we're going to start back here in the background, and we're just going to do our traditional scumbling. We're not going to try to create any particular thing at this point. We're just going to put in color. And yeah, I'm going to go around, not totally outline the lion, but I want to go in around the body part enough that I can see the shape. This will be the female's head right here. And I just want to get some nice, soft, earthy tones, pick up a little burnt umber. Now, I have to be honest with you, a lot of artists like to use yellow ochre. As a lot of you are familiar with yellow ochre or Naples yellow, some of those tones, they work great in this, but I like to just mix my own colors. So I like to use what we call a limited palette. So I take yellow, white, and a little burnt umber. You can actually make ochre, and you can make Naples. You can make all kinds of colors. Yeah, it kind of creates those nice earthy tones. I want you to just scrub like this. Just go kind of every direction, but do some subtle blending. Notice where I'm holding my brush way back here. We'll put some brush and some twigs and branches and, you know, maybe some little rocks. This just gives you some base, a little bit of earthy tones. And we'll also want to start thinking about the contrast rule when you think about anything that you paint. For instance, if you know that the lion's going to have a light-colored mane, what's going to be behind him will be darker. See, the reason this one shows up is because of this dark background. Well, we use the same principle in painting. So you want to let the contrast rule kick in. That's really important. So we know that this is going to be, we want this to be a little darker here so his mane will pop out. So what I'm going to do now is I come down towards his body, which is another reason I chose to go ahead and sketch them in here. So I want to really see this a little better. So now I'm going to go in here like this. Just kind of scrub in a little bit darker tones around his head. See, I'm using almost everything on my palette, but sticking with the darker values. Come right into and around him like this. Again, you're not trying to paint a perfect shape because you'll re-sketch that later. That was just a rough sketch, just to kind of give me a little roadmap to get on the highway, and we'll figure out a different route here as time passes. Stand back. See, I like all these horizontal strokes that kind of smudge. If you want more vertical down in, a lot of scrubbing, blending, blurring. We want to keep this nice, soft, earthy look. And like a photographer's depth of field, that's what we're trying to do. We're going to kind of blur that background. A little bit of white, a little bit of umber. You can use burnt sienna. Any of these earth tones. A little red in there adds a nice little touch. I like the green in there too. Now, so you can actually mix right there. So you can put the green on there. Take a little yellow and just throw it in and do a little scrubbing and blending. And see, the good news with this underpainting already in here, it really helps your colors blend nicer. You see, there's people all the time call us up almost every single day at the studio and say, why do you tint your canvas? Why? Well, for just this reason. A lot of times when you do this kind of painting, you're scrubbing, a little bit of the canvas shows through, and if it's that white canvas, it just sticks out like a sore thumb, and no one likes that. So it's better to tint your canvas a little bit so that you'll be able to, when you scrub it, anything that shows through won't be those little white flakes that sometimes are kind of obnoxious. So I'm going in for the darker value here around his mane. We're going to have some sticks and logs, and this will be from the female here that goes behind this lion. Her rear end right here will come right through here. From her tail here, we'll have a log or two or stick or two in there. So I'm just kind of giving you a little food for thought. And you might have your own reference material. I mean, that's just up to you. My goal as your teacher is not to get you to paint the same thing I'm painting necessarily, or even paint like me, but to just give you good technical advice. But whatever you do, you'll do it right. So you might decide to put another line in there, different one, different shape, different form. You may have your own reference material. Maybe you've been to Africa and you've got some great photos, but you just didn't know how to start. Well, I recommend if you're going to do one, that you focus on the lion and less landscape is that important to you. And this background is going to be typical of some of the reserves over there. The one that I'm most familiar with, the one near is the Rhino and African Lion Reserve near Johannesburg. And it's a fabulous place where the lions and the rhinos are protected and some other species of animals. And it's really fun to think about all the things. I've had a couple of opportunities to go to Africa. Haven't got there yet, but I'm going. And here you see I put in some darker values, and we're going to put some grasses and weeds and things out of this later. Remember, folks, the first program or two is all about underpainting and getting things blocked in. And it's a little frustrating for those of you that are kind of new at this, because you're wanting to see things happen quicker than it can, and you get a little frustrated with it. So if you just watch it develop. Now here's what I'm going to do. See this little spot right here? I can already see a bush kind of developing there. So let's go ahead and make something out of that. So take this color, take your hooker's green, take a little bit of purple. Let's go ahead and get a nice deep, maybe a little umber, kind of a deep green here, almost like a forest green. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of scrub in some underpainting for this bush that I want to have here. Now these lines are pretty simple. Let them how to hide out. They know how to get in the bush there. They've got those colors in there for like almost all, it's interesting. All the African animals, and I have a friend who's a biologist. I think I mentioned to you in the first program. He's a tick biologist. He studies ticks. Ticks are at epidemic levels over there. Anyway, all of the animals, their markings were just designed so they can hide. Because everything's after something else over there. You're just being born in Africa as a lion or any animal. You're instantly subject to all kinds of problems. So, yeah, man. See, I got that little bush right there, and that kind of adds a little bit of touch. Well, that doesn't mean that we're not going to go back and add some highlights and details, but I like that effect for the most part. All right, let's take a look over here. I want to see what we got cooking. All right, now the female lion that we're going to put in there, I'm going to go ahead and get this piece of reference material up here as well. Another clip here. I'm going to put her right here so that we can kind of see this. One of the things I want all of you to think about now is that she's got to go in first. All right. Now I've already kind of charcoaled her in here a little bit. So I'm going to go to redo this now. I'm using the soft fine charcoal. Now see, look, I'm going to remind all of you, this is what you should sketch with. This is the skinny soft fine. I think this is the number 2 soft fine charcoal. You can get it at different degrees of hardness and thickness and all kinds of things. So don't be afraid to experiment. But I find when I'm doing my animals and birds or people, that the skinnier charcoal is better to use. So what I'm going to do here, notice how I'm holding it like this. Make a nice little light sketch. Got her ear here, her head's kind of leaned down, she's getting ready, she's in the napping position. That's why we're calling this African catnap. And all I want to do to start with is just kind of get her blocked in there. She is really going to be sort of a feature in this background, and she'll come in behind right like this, and her rear end will come over here, and then her tail comes over here, and so we'll kind of play with that. Now the first step is to underpaint these animals. Now I'm going to get you started. I think what I'm going to share with you is that every animal that you underpaint, they almost all start off with some similar tints and tones, grays, browns, some of the earthy tones. Well, even in the lion family here, we're going to go now to our number 4 bristle brush. And I want to get you started on this. Let's go down here to our palette. Take a little blue and brown. I like to add a little purple, deepens it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back here and I'm just going to lay in the basic I'm just going to block in her eye right there. And I know it's going to seem a little silly, but remember, you just want to scumble. You're not trying to create a form yet. So you just scumble. You want it to be fairly dark. You want to get a little more of a golden color to it, so you take a little yellow and orange. See what I'm doing here? Now it's going to take a little bit of effort here to get all of this laid out like it's supposed to. But I promise you in the end, just like the other paintings, I could just sense in my spirit, when I'm painting, I'm thinking, oh man, if I was sitting back there at home watching some guy on TV paint something like this, I'd be thinking, oh my goodness, why am I even watching this show? Well, those of you who've been watching for a long time know that's just the way a painting starts. It starts off really loose and sloppy, and then all of a sudden, boom, the last program or two, it looks like something. Now remember, we always pull inward when you underpaint. See, I'm pulling in. The reason for that is to create a soft edge. If you don't do that, you'll end up with a real more. I didn't quite bring my background in far enough, so we'll pull up a little of that some too. But okay, now on the top of the head right there, that's the ear. This is the. I got a pretty straight head right there, but I'm going to change the value slightly. So I'm just going to take a little bit of white, orange. Just stay with these earth tones, folks. And kind of get a little bit of a tint right there, just so that it separates slightly from the ear. And there's a slight little dent right there. It goes down on the top of the nose. Then you kind of model it in. See, I'm just modeling. And I'm always pulling down on from the edge. That gives you that nice softness. Okay, now I've got the eye. See the eye right there? That's too low. Alright, so all you got to do, rinse your brush out. I'm going to take a little bit of dark blue and the brown. Move the eye up. Now remember, whenever you do eyes on animals, people, or birds, you always make it bigger than it's supposed to be. So I'm going to move it up to about right there. Alright? Now that's all you do is make a blob. Then you take what's left over here of the paint and you blur, you just kind of feather that out, work this one in, get the final shaping, and then we'll highlight, of course, later. And the eyes are slanted. You know they've got that real slant and stuff. So see, there's the eye starting to pop out just a little bit. All right, I'm going to stand back and look at this. And I think we're in pretty good shape for the basic rough end. Yeah, I think we're going to live with that. Okay, good. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring in my background here. So I'll go back to this color, a little white and green to it. This will be the modeling technique that we've used before. You just go in there, see how quickly that matches that. See, if you stick with these earth tones, folks, you cannot go wrong. Just pull it around at the shape for neck. This is kind of new. I mean, I've done, but this is not something that I've done too much before on our TV programs. A little more advanced painting techniques going on here. I think you'll really get a kick out of it. It'll kick you one way or another anyway. It's going to be fun. But also, I want everyone to notice that the earth tones, even though this is just in a zoo, here's one that's kind of, see the nice, rich tones, the tans, the grays. It's got to, but we got to have some contrast in there. All right, so those are some other photographs of some other things. So I'm going to go and get a little more light in here now. See, when it dries, remember your acrylics always dry just a little darker. So right now, let's take our number 4 bristle brush, take a little bit of white, while we're letting our line dry a little bit. Now see this earth tone right here? That's sort of a creamy, kind of almost a tan, with a little orange, white, and that mud that's there. We're just going to keep working this mud. Okay, now starting right here at the top. I want you to notice, see the light coming in? I'm going to pull this a little bit of a glare. That's not quite bright enough, so let's go a little stronger. A little more gesso, maybe a touch of yellow. I love these golden tones that you get over there. There we go, that's better. Alright, now this time, if the background's dry, you're going to do what's called dry brush skimming, where you skim across the surface, kind of skip it. What this makes it do, it look kind of like dirt. It kind of gives it that chunkiness. Now it has to be wet enough that it slides, but it doesn't look chalky, so don't get too much white, and it doesn't look scratchy and rough. See how I'm breaking this up now, and this is starting to give it that little look of dirt sand, gravel, some areas you can make a little bit more dramatic, bigger areas. I move kind of quickly, it drives our camera people crazy, but that's kind of what my job is. Because you got to keep moving. You can't sit in one spot for too long. So you're opening up little pockets, what we call a hot spots in a painting. This gives you that little bit of depth, shows the ground to get a little, makes it look a little flatter, and adds a little color as well. And notice where I'm holding my brush. A lot of you still have a tendency to creep way up towards the metal ferrule, get your nose right up on there, and then all of a sudden you're painting so close that you can't get the feeling of a nice, free-flowing, impromptu painting with a lot of loose brush strokes. I have to say this, anytime I get new students that come in, a lot of times I ask them, well, what can you expect to gain here? You know what, one of the most, the answer is, most of the time, well, I just want to loosen up. I want to learn to paint looser and freer. I want to learn to paint more like an artist. Folks, that's what this is all about. Learning how to paint loose and free with very accurate strokes so that it doesn't have to just sit there and look like a photograph. Not that you can't do that. I'm by no means against that. In fact, I used to paint like that, and now and then still do. But most of us want to learn to loosen up so that our paintings look what we call in the art world more painterly. Okay, see, I've just got some nice light back in there. It looks pretty good. I think I'm going to put a little right over here. And then, yeah, see, right over here, I don't want to get too close to the lion because I still want to keep some of that dark around it. But this kind of just adds a little bit of texture to the ground. Okay. Now, we may even use our toothbrush to do a little splattering. But right now, we're going to go to our number 4 chisel edge brush. Now, most of you are familiar with this one. That's the little nylon or synthetic brush that we use that's got the real sharp chisel. So you want to come down here and take your burnt umber, Hooker's green, a little bit of purple, get it way down. Pretty dark value, actually. I want to make some little brush sticking up back here. Okay. Now remember, get the chisel on here, take your brush. It's going to come out of this mass of the underpainting we've got, and you want to just kind of go like this. So don't be afraid. Fear, just do it. Remember the motto that we have? Just do it afraid. Because fear will keep you from learning, it'll keep you from growing. And, you know, there was a time when I was afraid too. I just didn't want to do it because I didn't want to mess something up or whatever. Well, the way I look at it, folks, fear is a great deterrent to growth. It can also be a great inspiration to you. Then you got to have a healthy fear. You do want to be careful, but don't let it stop you. See, I'm going to get much of this back in here, just a little bit more. I wouldn't call it really detail, but it's sort of semi-detail just to kind of get some background stuff started before we get to the main thing with the line. See, I'm just kind of scribbling there. See, I'm creating. I see it's also making your background push back a little bit. This comes forward, makes it have a little more, I don't know, interest, you might say. And if we establish our light source, we'll put some highlighted weeds and things in here also. We're just not quite ready for that yet. You know, one more assignment because we're starting to get close to the end of the show, unfortunately. But I want you to all of you get your background in there. It's really important, folks, more than you realize, to get as much of your background that you want in there. Like, for instance, right over here, I'm going to show you something real quick. You can take this brush now, and you can pull up some soft little grasses, just the underpainting, by just taking your brush and flattening it out. I'm going to flip. Watch how I'm going to flip this. You go find a light spot, and you flip up like this. Okay? So these will be the little clumps of grass that you'll see also out on on these savannas and these little areas of the prairies of Africa. So these will be little base, little clumps. So I put a few of these around to kind of make it look a little more interesting. And then out of those, you'll pull little weeds and things. And then you'll be able to create a nice composition. Yeah, I think I'll put a little more right up here. Just kind of flip up. You got to get your brush pretty fluid to make that happen. Put one right here. A little bigger clump right there. Well, it'd be a good idea actually maybe put some around the back end of her body here so that, that her body will pop out against that too. So between now and our next session, what I'm going to do, folks, is probably add a few more weeds and things and clumps to kind of get this kind of behind us. We're going to spend a lot of time next week on the lions, a little bit on the foreground. So we've got this big dead log right here. I love that. It's going to be a lesson also, not just about the lion, but how to do the landscape behind the lion. You don't have a lot of people that say, yeah, I just don't know. I do a good job on my animals.